Hey everyone, welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Missy and I am a life and relationship coach. And today we're going to be talking about examples of gaslighting. So I was inspired to make this video because I am a reality TV addict and I was watching Netflix's newest show, The Ultimatum, which it's pretty invasive and it actually is really sad to watch. Like, you gotta be tough to be on that show, I'd imagine. But I was seeing some hardcore gaslighting. Actually, most of the Netflix shows lately, there's been a lot of gaslighting going on. And I was reading people's opinions on Twitter and I was seeing that a lot of people don't even realize that some of these behaviors were gaslighting. So cue today's video where we're going to talk more further about examples of gaslighting. So I do want to talk about one scene in The Ultimatum. If you do not care or you don't want to be spoiled for you, I will leave the marker where you can skip over to the examples that have nothing to do with The Ultimatum. Okay, so let's talk The Ultimatum. I want to talk about this one specific couple. Leave it down below if you know what I'm gonna say, but I want to talk about Madeline and Colby. So in the very beginning of the episodes, Sis was acting like she hated Colby's guts, and I was like, uh-oh, something's off, something's not right. He had like this nice persona, but it seemed kind of phony. I was like, something's gonna unravel here. Let's see what happens. Fast forward to episode 6, my questions are answered. This man was gaslighting her so hard. He not only hid that he kissed someone else, he said that he kissed someone else because he did it for Madeline. What? He claims Madeline made him. I'm sorry. I must have missed the part when Madeline forced your face and this girl's other face into each other. What do you mean she made you? Not only did Madeline make you kiss her, but apparently Madeline also made you hide it and talk to this girl for 3 weeks. But it was all about the experience. Oh, and can't forget when you victimized yourself and then said, I guess I'm not enough for you. Where's the accountability? Complete gaslighting. No one can make you do something like that. And it was further proven that he was gaslighting her when in the last episode, episode 8, when she literally felt crazy. And that's a huge sign, is like when you're talking to someone and you feel like you're going insane, like how is this actually a conversation? You're in reality of being like, it's normal to take accountability and you're not taking accountability, so like, is this real? Am I crazy? That's how it feels. But it's such a subtle thing that sometimes it's not even noticeable because they're so good at manipulating. And if you're interested in watching it, I would definitely recommend. It's episode 6 and 34 minutes in. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. Now we're going to get into the examples of gaslighting. I made a video in the past going more in depth about gaslighting and what it's like being gaslit, and then how do you know if you've been gaslit, which I will leave right here. So telling you how you feel, and this is really detrimental in childhood when parents do this to their kids. So imagine this, you're a child and you say to your parent, I'm upset, and your parent's like, no, you're not upset, you're fine, you're happy. And then you say again, I'm upset, and your parent's like, no, you're not, you're happy. You say again, I'm upset, and your parent's like, no, you're happy. And then you're like, I guess I'm happy. I guess this is what really happiness feels like, but I'm being told I'm happy by my mom and dad, and so I'm happy. Or, you know, your parent tells you what you want. You say that you want to go to the playground. You're like, no, you don't want to go to the playground, you want to go to the pool. And they do this over and over again. They do that, and then you eventually are like, okay, I guess I want this. I don't want that after all. And it teaches you to completely suppress your emotions and your feelings, and you lose sight of what you want and your own perceptions. So then you grow up suppressing your emotions and you have no idea what you actually think or feel, and you'll be confused when you feel something because you've always been gaslighted to feel like you're supposed to feel something else. It alters your perception and reality, and this still can continue on in your relationships. This will become familiar, and then you'll also look for that in your relationships of having someone tell you what you feel, which that coincides with invalidating your emotions. So when you're feeling something, the gaslighter will minimize them, criticize it, make you feel like you can't have this emotion, maybe telling you that you're over exaggerating, telling you that other people have it worse, or that's not a valid reason to cry, completely invalidating how you're feeling. And then you eventually will feel ashamed and like you're not supposed to feel these things. and you are taught to belittle your emotions. The next example is shifting blame. This is basically where they blame you for their mistakes, which is what Colby did. So when something goes wrong, you're the scapegoat, you're the reason why it went wrong. Or you provoke them to get to that point. You provoke them to start to yell. You provoke them to act that way. They insist it is not their fault, it's yours. If there's ever a situation you confront them about, they will somehow turn it around and make it your fault. You're the reason why it happened. And if there ever is an apology, their apologies will sound like, I'm sorry you made me do this. I didn't want to do it. I'm sorry you got me to this point. So they could blame you for something so small, like they can't find their car keys, to something bigger, like you made them hate you. You're the reason why it happened. If you just kept your mouth shut, then it wouldn't have happened, which is absolutely not true. You are never responsible for someone else's behaviors or what they say. No matter what. It doesn't even matter if you say the worst things in the world. Every single person is responsible for their own actions and their own words and what they say. This one is predominantly in childhood, but it could happen in relationships or even in work environments, but dismissing your needs. So if you're a child that experiences, you're a helpless child. You depend and rely on your parents for everything. You can't drive, you can't feed yourself, you don't have money, you're helpless. You also don't know how to regulate your emotions or how to go about life. Your brain isn't fully developed. You need the guidance of your parents. So you physically, emotionally need your parents to attend to your needs. And it's okay to be needy as a child. It's okay to want to play and talk and eat and be validated and be fed. All of that is normal and healthy, but a gaslighter will make you feel wrong or shameful for having needs, or even bad for having those needs. Like, how dare you need something from them? This will make you feel like a burden or helpless or even worthless. And then this will create feelings of anxiety and depression. You will always, and you're taught to feel like you need to put yourself to the side and always attend to other people's needs because your needs were belittled or dismissed. You were made to feel like you couldn't have them. So what this will look like is if you say, hey mom, I had a really bad day, I just really need a hug, and your mom's like, you need a hug? Why do you need a hug? Like, I'm going through a whole bunch of stuff. Like, you're a kid, you're not experiencing anything, you don't need a hug. Or you say, Dad, I'm really hungry, I haven't eaten today. Good, you look like you don't need to eat. Like, you don't need to eat right now, you're fine. Being denied those needs can cast so much shame on a child that you will feel like you deserve to be deprived of your needs. And this also can happen in relationships. Like, if you're in a relationship with a gaslighter, you may feel like you need to earn your needs. Or even in a work environment, you feel like you need to earn your needs. You need to earn the right to have your basic needs. The next one is when a gaslighter pits others against you, which this one is crazy making. So in this, what happens is that when you're in public with the gaslighter, they may, or even behind your back, they may speak really negatively about you, and they will make jokes at your expense, publicly humiliate you, calling you out, Jada Pinkett Smith. They will embarrass you, reveal personal information that you guys had talked about being between the two of you, or just common sense that you don't reveal certain information in public or to others unless without someone's permission. They may gossip about you or start rumors, or if in the family dynamics, if you have a narcissistic parent where they turn your siblings against you or the other parent against you, they will lie about you to your siblings and your other parent to make them not like you or not want to be around you, or to create distance between you and this specific person. Really, this is a way to isolate you and further make you feel crazy and less than and bad about yourself, because that's how they feel. They feel bad about themselves and they're projecting, and they just want to find any way they can control. Especially if you're someone who is on the more empathetic, nicer side and you're a happy-go-lucky person, they're going to want to tear that down because they're so miserable inside. And they feel empowered having other people on their side when they're pinning everyone else against you. It further validates them and makes them feel like it's okay what they're doing and they can continue to do it. It makes them feel like they have permission. The next one is passive aggressive sabotage. So in this, what they'll do is they say that they will do something, or they will act really nice, like they're on your side and they want to help you out, but then they'll sabotage it. So for instance, let's say that they said that they would fill out this form for you at work, and if you don't have this form filled out by Tuesday, you're gonna get in trouble. So what they'll do is they'll say like, yeah, no, I got your back, I'll fill it out. But then they don't fill it out, and then when you confront them about it, they act like they don't know what you're talking about, that they never said that they were going to fill out this form. So they say they'll help out with something, but they actually have motive to ruin it and act like they never said they were going to do it, or act like it never happened. So they're pretending that they're going to do something good for you, or they're helpful, but they're not really being that helpful. Or another way they'll passively aggressively sabotage you is that they will act like they're really on board to help you with something. Maybe you're trying to lose some weight, and they'll be like, yeah, no, like totally, I'm totally with you. And then they'll try to give you a lot of chocolate, or try to give you fatty foods, and be like, you're fine, like you really should eat some of these things, it's like fine, it's not gonna hurt your diet. So they'll seem so helpful and on board 1 minute, and then the next minute they're completely sabotaging it. Another example is disregarding your boundaries. So when you do put up a boundary, they may become very angry or dismissive of like, why do you need to do this? There's no reason to do this. And they will continue to try to push you and try to make you feel stupid or look like you're a certain type of person for trying to have these boundaries. For instance, let's say you put up a boundary with your parent that you don't want to talk to them every single day. They'll say, why? I'm your parent, you should be talking to me every day. What kind of son or daughter are you that you're not talking to me every day? So they will appear very dismissive and very angry at the fact that you have these boundaries, and it will cause you to question yourself of like, am I wrong to have these boundaries? And it's to further bully you so you don't have boundaries. The next one that I think is hands down the worst type of gaslighting, and that's distracting with compassion. So what they'll do is they will say something negative, or they will do something controlling, or they will do just something horrible, and then they'll cover it, they'll gloss it over and say, oh, I'm doing this because I love you and I care about you and I'm just trying to help you out. And it will completely confuse you because they did something mean, but then they covered it with something nice, so then you're like, maybe it's not so bad. Or if you do react with anger, you'll then feel bad or feel like you're overreacting because they did just say something nice afterwards. Like they may have said that you were overweight and wouldn't get the job, but you'd be better as a baker. They did just say that maybe you weren't smart enough to be an engineer, but you would make a really good cab driver. So after they act compassionate, you will think, am I overreacting or am I acting very harshly? Because they immediately withdraw, and I'm like, no, I didn't mean it like that. I love you and I care for you and that's why I said it. It's bullshit. This also kind of goes into like fake concern. So one way that they will completely alter your reality or twist things is by questioning your memory. So they'll do something and then they'll pretend like it didn't happen, and they'll say, oh, I think your memory's going, like you should go to the doctor and get that checked out, like that didn't happen. And they'll do this over and over again to the point where you really start to question and feel like you're losing your mind, because it seems like they're coming across as so genuine, and they would never do that to you because they really care about you. They wouldn't possibly pretend something's happening or they're lying because they tell you they really care about you. The next one is making you the butt of the joke. Pretty much making fun of you for everything and just making fun of you for having feelings. So when they make a joke about you, they'll tell you that you're overly sensitive or that you're just being too critical and you can't take a joke. When you show any type of emotion, they will make fun of you or criticize you and make you feel like you can't have any type of emotion and that you should feel ashamed for having any emotion. And this is very prevalent. This happens a lot with men. They deal with that is they're told that they're babies or they're feelings are for women and that they can't have those feelings, and they're gaslit to not know what feelings they have, or if they feel like it's not okay to have those feelings. It's not to say this doesn't happen with women too, especially if you're dealing with a gaslighter in general, but still with women a lot of times it's that you are just being overly sensitive and that you can't handle criticism or you can't handle a joke and you need to take it better. So you may have had an altercation with a friend and you come home one day and you tell your partner about it, and then they start making fun of you and you get upset. They'll be like, you're being overly sensitive, like it's just a joke, learn how to take a joke. And then you feel even worse after that because you had the situation with your friend, and then also now you're feeling invalidated and you're being made into a joke when you just wanted to be heard or for someone to give you a hug. The next is to discount good qualities or achievements. So when you achieve something, a gaslighter may try to take credit or belittle the efforts that you did put into it. Maybe they accuse you of cheating or that someone else did the work. They'll belittle anything you do or any good qualities about you. They'll try to take that away from you. They'll completely question your accomplishments, and they'll give a lot of backhanded compliments. Like, you did really good, but you didn't do as good as the other students. So throwing you a bone, but then taking it back by making you feel like you didn't do a good enough job. Or when you try to give yourself any type of praise, they will criticize you and say that you're self-absorbed or you think too highly of yourself. Like, let's say you're like, oh, I look good today, and they're like, no, you've had better days. The next thing is that they deny abuse. So if you are aware that the abuse is happening and maybe you bring it up to them and you have pure evidence that it's happening, they still will deny it at all costs. Even with facts, they will try to twist it in any way that they can. Maybe they will start a big argument, a fight, and make you look like you're a bad guy for trying to prove that it's happening. They will completely deny the truth. Or even maybe, let's say you're not aware the abuse is happening, they will say things like, you're so lucky that you're not in an orphanage, or you're so lucky that I don't ever hit you. They will try to make it seem like the environment you're in is much better than it is, especially if you ever complain. This also ties into when they deny the truth, there is a lot of hypocrisy. So what they'll do is they will preach and say, never do this certain thing, but then when they do it, they make a lot of excuses. If someone else does it, they condemn them, they make it a problem, they punish that person, they make an example of that person. But them, it's completely fine. They had a bad day, or it's completely excusable of why they did it. It's no problem. And the last one is withholding information. So this kind of ties into playing mind games and mind tricks. So they will either not tell you certain information, like for instance, let's say you have dinner reservations and they won't tell you what time it is for absolutely no reason. It's not like a surprise, they're just acting like a child. Or they act like they told you something that they actually never really told you, and then they get upset with you for not remembering. So let's say for instance they pretend that they told you that they would be home at 9 and they actually really didn't tell you, so you're calling them and you have no idea where they are. You start to get worried, and then they show up at 9 and they're like, yeah, I told you I was gonna show up at 9, but you know that they never told you. There was none of this information that they told you. Now that can happen in any type of dynamic, but the difference is that a healthy person will be like, oh yeah, like it must have been miscommunication, my bad. A gaslighter will say, no, I told you, and they will not back down. And they're dead set trying to convince you that you have memory problems and you're the problem. Not only that, but they'll do stupid little silly things like hide your keys and pretend like they don't know where they are, or they'll move things around and pretend that they're not doing it, just so that way it's another way to kind of have hold on you and control you and to manipulate you and to make you question your reality. So these are some examples of gaslighting. Was there anything new that you heard, or have you heard all these things? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and share with someone that you think may need it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye guys. I'm talking to a camera and you're sitting on the couch. I can't believe I'm doing this. I am embarrassed. I don't like that example. You can hear that. Oh, and we can't forget when you to something bigger, like you made them hit you. Like,